If you keep your crypto on an exchange or a mobile app, you are making a massive trade-off. Your private keys, the literal cryptographic proof that you own your assets, live on internet-connected servers. We call these internet-connected systems hot wallets. Their main advantage is frictionless access. You get high liquidity, instant swaps, and the ability to trade daily without digging out a piece of hardware. But that constant connection is a two-way street. Because the wallet is always online, it is constantly exposed to malware scraping your clipboard, phishing links designed to drain your account, or the centralized exchange itself going bankrupt and freezing your funds. In the digital asset space, convenience is inversely correlated with security. This chart maps out that relationship. On the far left, we have hot wallets and exchanges. They offer high convenience, but demand you accept high risk. Relying entirely on a hot wallet gives you zero friction market access. But the cost is exposing your life savings to a 24/7 global attack surface. To neutralize those online threats, you have to move your assets into what the industry calls cold storage. The definitive tool for this is the hardware wallet. The core mechanism of a hardware wallet is the air gap. Looking back at our spectrum, this moves us to the far right. An air gap means there is a strict physical and electrical separation between your private keys and any device that connects to the internet. By migrating your funds to this hardware, you create a strict physical barrier. Even if the computer you plug it into is riddled with viruses, the malware cannot cross that gap to reach your keys. But true self-custody is unforgiving. If you lose your physical backup phrase, there is no forgot password button. There is no customer service department to call. Your funds are permanently inaccessible. Every reputable hardware manufacturer achieves this same offline baseline. Consequently, your decision centers on workflow, specifically how much friction you are willing to tolerate. Hardware wallets provide absolute cryptographic isolation from the internet, but they force you to accept 100% liability as your own bank. At the heart of any modern cold storage device is a specific chip called a secure element. These are EAL5+ or EAL6+ certified hardware components, the exact same enterprise-grade chips used in biometric passports and credit cards to resist physical tampering. Your private keys are generated entirely inside this physical vault. When you connect the wallet to a computer to sign a transaction, the chip processes the math internally. The keys themselves never leave the device. This architecture does have trade-offs. It increases the manufacturing cost of the device, and it requires you to implicitly trust that the manufacturer's supply chain was not compromised before the box arrived at your door. To combat software manipulation, these devices rely on a principle called WYSIWYS. That stands for what you see is what you sign. If a hacker compromises your laptop screen to display a fake destination address, the hardware wallet's built-in display will still show the true raw data of the transaction. You verify the exact details independently, bypassing the compromised computer entirely. The secure element effectively neutralizes digital theft, but the integrity of the system still relies entirely on you. You have to actively read that tiny screen and physically press a button to approve the correct transaction. To evaluate the different types of hardware wallets on the market, we can plot them on a matrix. This chart measures how much effort or friction a device adds to your workflow against its overall accessibility and convenience. First, we have the mobile-centric ecosystem approach, championed by devices like the Ledger Nano X, Ledger Stax, and the Trezor Safe 5. These models are built to connect to mobile companion apps via Bluetooth or direct USB-C. This setup allows you to manage your assets, check balances, and execute trades while on the go, right from your phone. The trade-off here is connectivity. Adding a Bluetooth radio introduces a theoretical wireless attack surface, however minor, and operating this way requires deep reliance on the manufacturer's proprietary software ecosystem to bridge the gap. This mobile-first cold storage intentionally sacrifices a tiny degree of theoretical isolation. In return, it makes daily trading and frequent interactions with smart contracts, self-executing code on the blockchain, almost entirely frictionless. On the opposite end of the spectrum is the air-gapped maximalist approach. The Keystone 3 Pro is a prime example of this philosophy. True air-gapping takes isolation to the extreme. These devices have zero Bluetooth capabilities, zero Wi-Fi, and their USB ports are hardwired to only accept power, refusing any data transfer whatsoever. To execute a transaction, you use the device's built-in camera to scan dense, verifiable QR codes back and forth between the wallet and your phone. The severe trade-off is the user experience. This creates a noticeably slower, clunkier workflow that requires you to physically align and scan screens every single time you want to move funds. True air gapping neutralizes the most advanced physical and wireless supply chain attacks, but it penalizes the user with intense operational friction on every single trade. No matter how secure the hardware is, standard cold storage relies on one ultimate single point of failure, the 12 or 24-word paper recovery phrase you write down during setup. To address this, manufacturers developed the seed phrase alternative approach, highlighted by devices like the Cypherock X1 and Trezor's Shamir backup feature. These systems use a cryptographic algorithm called Shamir's secret sharing. It takes your master key and mathematically splits it across multiple physical components, like 4 separate smart cards and 1 central vault. This architecture completely eliminates the risk of a thief finding a single piece of paper in your desk drawer. But the trade-off is that you now have to manage, hide, and eventually retrieve multiple physical hardware pieces to recover your wallet. Decentralized hardware backups solve the anxiety of a single point of failure. In exchange, they demand meticulous real-world organization and geographical distribution on your part. Choosing the right wallet means matching device friction to your technical appetite. We can map this on a scorecard. For the set-and-forget beginner, tethered devices like the Trezor Safe 3 or Ledger Nano S Plus are ideal. Because this profile rarely trades, they gladly accept being bound to a desktop computer in exchange for an affordable, highly secure baseline. If you're an active WYSIWYS or decentralized finance power user interacting with protocols daily, you want a Ledger Nano X or Trezor Safe 5. They prioritize a frictionless user interface, accepting deep ecosystem reliance. Finally, for the security maximalist, devices like the Keystone or Cypherock demand enterprise-level paranoia, enduring tedious daily operation to achieve it. There is no universal best hardware wallet. The optimal choice is dictated by whether you optimize for daily agility, long-term inheritance, or absolute isolation. Across all top-tier brands, the foundational cryptography, keeping your private keys offline, is a solved problem. But buying the most complex, enterprise-grade device on the market is actively dangerous if you lack the discipline to manage the recovery process. Sophisticated hacks rarely drain cold storage. The overwhelming majority of lost crypto results from user error, misplaced backups, and forgotten PIN codes. Your crypto is only as secure as the weakest link in your operational security. Evaluate your habits honestly and choose the wallet you will actually use correctly.